Oh, there we go. Good morning, everyone. Get rid of that one. There we go. Been away for a week. Hope you're all awesome and well. Hope you didn't miss me too much. Away with my team, doing a little bit of planning for the future. Lots going on, that's for sure. Hope you, well, wherever you are in this wonderful world, welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Back at it for Monday, the 29th of May. There you go. I'll do a few little warm-ups and intros as always. Jason Witten's my name, if you didn't already know. Most of you do, though, so good to see you. If you're new or you might have joined our coaching and mentoring program just recently, welcome. Hello. What we do here, we get together each morning, have a little connect, a bit of a chat over some coffee, talk about what is going on in the world of property investing. Always something happening, always something to talk about. And often most of it should be ignored, but some of it we should pay some attention to. And certainly most of it we should understand whether it's accurate, real. Should we do something about it? Should we not? And that's what these little Wealth Coffee Chats are about in the morning. So welcome along. Good to see you. I certainly missed you guys too. Felt a little bit out of whack during the week, but good to see you back at it. Tim, yes, I'm back. Kevin in the evening, but the morning here. Good morning to you, Jeff, and David, Alex. Fabulous to have you, Luke, Allison, Sonia, Facebook user. Hello, good morning. There you go. All right, well, let us know if you're new in the house anyway, but we'll get on with today's show. Today, I thought we would talk about some things, the number one menace, fabulous governments around the country, really sort of winding up and dialing up some interesting conversations. Anyone know what is going on right now out there in the world of rental increases? Tell me what's going on with the rents, folks. We'll set this up this morning. What's happening? What's happening with rent and most rents around Australia? Whack it in the chat for me. Let me know what is going on. It's an interesting, Dan's land tax attack. Yeah, the Victorians are getting a little touch up. Governments run their states badly, and then want to blame everyone else for it. But there you go. And that's the thing, folks. That's the thing for you and I. For you and I as property investors, we need to understand what's going on. Yep, the rents are going up for sure, Alex. And let's have a look at this. I'll put this up here. Here's what's happening with the weekly rents around the country. Rents are going up, which is great news for us as property investors, because for a while, if you have a look here, over here, rents went slowly and steadily kind of up over the last decade. Now, you can't see any big chunks of, increases or decreases here along in the rents, can you? Wasn't significant for a while there. Little bump here. We saw a bump around when COVID came along, right? So we saw a bit of a downswing and now a pretty significant upswing. And if you think about what has been going on, or what you saw go on over this last, let's call it, 20 odd years, 10 odd years. What are we, 23, 13 odd years. The rents didn't go up very much for a long time. Matter of fact, they steadied or may even have gone down in some places when COVID first landed. And, away we go. So what's going on right now? Well, the governments and specifically the state governments, because they are, let's call it useless when it comes to managing their pipeline of having enough rentals or properties being constructed in their world. The shortfall of properties available to the marketplace has significantly decreased, as you guys know, and that's causing rents to go up, plus population increases, et cetera, et cetera. So normal responses to supply and demand issues, which is pretty easy to see. Anyone at university 101 economics would be able to see that, but you'd think the governments would be able to understand these pressures, but they don't, okay? So what's happening around the country, around the nation, is the initial controlling of rents. Now, should this concern us? Yes, it should. Is it something we need to be vitally worried about? Well, let's take a look, folks. Let's take a look, and let's have a bit of a sticky beak at what this might be and what we should understand and what we should ignore in the next little bit. Because here's the drill. Fear will kill all of your financial freedom and stability dreams, because every day there's some lunatic out there carrying on like a pork chop, and most of them are politicians, folks. Who are the three people that are absolutely who are the three industries that mess with our wealth? And I'll tell you, there's three other people who behave out of fear as well when it comes to creating wealth. Who are the three worst collections of professionals or industries? I'm trying to not give it away. Not professionals just yet, but industries out there in the market. Who are the three worst? Number one, politicians. Politicians, right? They make up all sorts of rules, right? Like, how's this? Dan goes, oh, you know what? I stuffed it up. I'm an absolute monkey when it comes to this thing called running of the state. And, because it's now all over, okay, well, the budget's blown out. I'm going to make you pay for it. And look, what? Like, how's that? Yeah, anyway, don't get me started. I won't get finished today. You got the politicians. You got the media. Yeah, they're muppets. As well. And you got, I'm going to put the banks and the economists in the same boat, right? The banks and the economists. Those groups mess with us all the time. And I can tell you right now, folks, most of them, you should ignore what they say, and you should react to what they do. That makes sense? Like, what they say is a whole lot of bunch of rubbish, but what they get up to, what they do, let's say the politicians are doing something right now. We need to manage ourselves. Now, the land tax, yes, it's a grotty grab in Victoria. Is it going to be a problem for you and me? No, it's not going to be a major problem. It's $900 more land tax in Victoria for most investors that I know. $900. Should you cut and run? Should you run? Oh, the world's ending. No. Is it annoying? Yes. Are they a bunch of tossers? Yes. But that's the way it is, right? It's tax deductible, so make sure you claim the tax. All right. The other three people who say things and what we unfortunately act out of fear. I can tell you, and as from a property agent point, a property investor's point of view, valuers, absolute. Anyway, valuers, don't get me started on them. I can tell you right now, financial planners, financial planners aren't wealthy. Listen, next time you talk to a financial planner, ask for their balance sheet. Ask for Say, listen, dude, before you give me any wealth advice, some financial planning advice, you show me your wealth plan. You show me your net worth. You show me what you invest in before I listen to you. Tell me, oh, man, get me fired up today. An accountant. Now, a great accountant and a great financial planner, absolutely essential. Unfortunately, most of them aren't great. Folks, you know that. Most aren't great. Most are just getting by. Accountants are not the same, are no different. These people, if they are acting out of fear, don't listen to them. Anyway, I think I got a bit delayed or kind of today, these politicians right here, this lot, hang on, that was my eraser. I'll put this in, there we go. This lot here, the politicians are up to something that will affect you and I, and we need to understand what that is, all right? And who said it before there? I think we had it on here. There we go. Some of this stuff restricting rent increases. Now, there's two things that have been happening, and let's talk about them. Some things we need to understand, and we need to appreciate that is going on. What's happened? Why is this important right now? Well, for the majority of COVID, folks, and prior to COVID anyway, the rent versus the average loan payment was about the same. And this is normally what happens. You know, they stay in a kind of a narrow band, depending on where you buy or what you're going to buy. You might buy something that's a little bit less cash flow in some cities per se, because you're looking for growth or something like that. You might buy something in a regional area because you're looking for cash flow, you know, whatever. So, and it's pretty close. The band's pretty close. So what's happened in COVID, folks, is the difference between what our rents were and what our interest payments were pretty different, which is fabulous. You and I had a good time of it in COVID, and we pocketed some dollars. You should have pocketed some dollars. Hopefully, you put some aside. Hopefully, you were listening to the Wealth Coffee chats. Hopefully, you claimed your tax deductions. You put your buffers aside. You know, I talk about it all the time. $5,000 to $10,000 minimum per property you own is a buffer. A bit more if you're a bit conservative. And what's happened right now? Interest rates, and this is the thing, folks. This is the thing. Interest rates can go up faster than our rents can. Interest rates can go up faster than our rents can. So rents now, it's up the other way. It's up the other way. Now it's negative. Interest rates are higher. Rents aren't so high. Okay. What's happening now? What's the normal thing? You and I, and this is kind of a self-fulfilling question anyway, but what are we going to do as property investors? Our costs go up. So we say, all right, what's the number one, what's the only thing that we can do when it comes to covering our costs? Because our costs go up, the banks and RBA and so on are trying to manage inflation. We're caught in the crossfire of that as investors. What can we do? Well, we can put our rents up, okay? Now, I've been saying that for a long time. 3 years, matter of fact, team. Put your rents up. Put your rents up. Every chance you get, put your rents up. Because what happens in this, you pass the cost on. Put the rent up. Exactly, guys. You know, this is not rocket science. And if it was, it'd probably be still the same. It's not that difficult to work out. If your costs increase, you got to put your prices up. Okay. Now, if you don't, you'll go broke. That's not why you are investing in a few properties to create wealth and financial stability for your future. That's what we're up to. All right. Put your rents up. So that's fine. We can put our rents up. We'll try and cover our costs. Most investors aren't able to put their rents up fast enough to cover the increases, and they're going to be negative cash flow for a while, potentially. That's why you have buffers and so on. That's why if you're PAYG, you claim your taxes, you go. All right, put your rents up as you go. Number two, PAYG variation. Make sure you get your cash back, folks. Make sure you get your cash back. That gives you some dollars. Get some dollars from your rent. Get some dollars from your PAYG variation. You get some tax back immediately in each week. Tax back. And the last but not least, if you had to, you can dip into your buffer or use some equity from your property if you've got access to it. I talk about equity lock all the time to cover some of the shortfall while you rectify this here. All right. Rents up are a bit slower. Okay. What's the challenge though? The governments are going to control how often you can put your rents up. All right. So let's look at that. Control the rents up time frame. All right. So here's what we need to know, folks. Here's what we need to know as property investors. As of today. Now, in the past, in the 12 months ago, you could put your rents up in many states every 6 months or so. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's true, Alison, isn't it? Hey, they don't really care. And anyway, the cost gets passed on to the end user. Don't get me started on that one. They're controlling that. They got to get inflation under control. Now, if you put the cost of money up, we've got to put our rents up to cover our costs, or people go broke. It's just crazy. Anyway, it used to be 6 months across the nation right now, folks. It's pretty well 12 months everywhere. Okay, every 12 months. You can't put your rent up any longer than 12 months, okay? Any shorter than 12 months. 12 months there. Now, how much can you put your rents up is now the next conversation. It changed from 6 to 12, okay? And now the how much you can put your rents up is the next question mark that is being talked about. ACT, anyone know what happened in the ACT? ACT said, we look over here. If we look with the ACT, it says that that the prescribed amount is 110% increase for the CPI rents, right? So there's some conversations now in places like the ACT where they're saying, hey, this is how much you can put the rent up. The prescribed amount is 110% increase in CPI for rents. There you go. That is the lessor can increase the rent on a property by 10% more than the increase in the CPI. Now, that seems ludicrous to me. I just say, hey, open market factors. But in the ACT, that's what's going on. Okay, that's what's happening right now. There's a calculation of how you do it. You go to a website, you have a little look, the quarterly rent, blah, blah, blah. According to Sam, I had a good chat with Sam. You guys know Sam Saggers. He and I own properties in Canberra. And matter of fact, we don't think it's a bad thing, to be honest, with the CPI. If CPI is staying up a bit, you can whack your rents up a little bit more than CPI. There you go. That's what's happening. Do I agree with it? No. I think it's rubbish. However, for you and I, we need to know what's going on. At this moment in time, that is not on the cards anywhere else. My question might be, that might happen in Victoria. For the moment, that's the only other state talking seriously about this conversation. So what can we do in the meantime, folks? What can you do right now before this? If you own properties in certain areas and you've been sitting there and saying, oh, I'm fine, I won't put my rents up, etc., right? I say this all the time. I say it till I'm blue in the face. Get your PAYG tax variation back. Put your rents up in line with market values every single time. Every time. Every time. And lock in your equity. 3 things that, you should always do when the sun's out and you don't need to. Folks, unfortunately, when we need to do things, when we need that extra equity, when we need that extra rent, when we need that extra tax deduction, doing it under pressure and stress is the hard way. Anyway, did that make sense? There's some things afoot when it comes to our rents around the country. The number one thing we need to pay attention to right now is when and if your rent's coming up for renewal, make sure you renew, freshen your property up if you've got a little bit of equity, clean it up, get the maximum rent you can for the market value, because you don't know what those crazy pollies are going to do in this next 12, 18 months. Will it last forever? No. What will happen is the interest rates are going to come down late 24, early 25. Away we go. Nice, Alison. Good work. But this is the game we play, folks. This is the game we play in the world of property investing. I like this one the other day. I was reading in the Fin Review. I don't know if you guys read the Fin Review at all. I've got it. I've got the app, and it's like, the power of compounding interest is so important. He says, increasing your fortune by 10% a year will have a profound effect over 5 or more decades. 5 or more decades. Folks, I talk to you guys about 15 to 20 years minimum, right? I talk to you about that all the time. 5 or more decades. Anyway, there you go. I thought that impacted me so powerfully. I've changed a few of my plans in my business and my future. Anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. That's it. I'm just rabbiting on now. We should finish up because I'm well over. Missed you guys so much. I hang out all day and talk to you. All right. Thanks, folks. Good to see you. Thanks for another Wealth Coffee chat. We're done and dusted. Over and out. Join me tomorrow for another one. You guys know the drill, 10 past 8-ish. That's when we'll kick off and make it happen. You guys be awesome. Be well. Till tomorrow, remember, this thing's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time to create the property portfolio that you want. First and best step, buy something really well and don't bloody sell. All right. See you, folks. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.